What's going on, everybody? This is Black Men Sundays. I'm your host, Corie Murray, and we're talking about generational wealth. We're talking about finance, and of course, we're talking about business.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my best foot forward and elevate.
And before we introduce today's guest, my man Eric from Huntsville, aka Hunts Vegas, Alabama. Who do you have for our Black Men Sunday spotlight?
Hey, Corie, thank you for that. My spotlight, I'm doing something on an HBCU grad from Alabama State University, her name is April Ross, who bought her own television station, the same television station she interned years ago. So this is a picture of April right here. Let me give you a little tidbits of this April Ross. Now, April Ross, like I said, she's an HBCU grad from Alabama State University, who is now the owner of WJCN TV 33, a local television station based out in LaGrange, Georgia. As an entrepreneur, she is especially proud of her success because she used to work, like I said, at the same station as an intern. Now, April was a student majoring in communications when she began interning at WJCN. And after graduating in 2001, she began working as a production assistant and later as a reporter. Now, in 2017, she was working as a reporter with CBS affiliate WRBL News 3, where she encountered an incident whereby a deputy sheriff was shot. When she realized there was no reporters to cover the story, she did an exclusive live report in the area on social media. Now, that right there kind of gave her the intuition of wanting to pursue her business. So what she did was, because of that social media presence, it grew in excess of 15,000 followers. So that was a catalyst that ultimately contributed to a purchase of WJCN TV 33. Now, April now says that she credits God for everything she has achieved in life. And she says she is very thankful that she was a student of Alabama State University. That's my spotlight for today, Miss April Ross. Now back to you.
You said LaGrange, Georgia, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's Georgia, but I felt like when I was in LaGrange, I saw more Auburn signs than anything Georgia. So I realized, okay, you real close to Alabama. So,
Oh, that's
okay.
part of Alabama. And oh, by the way, I wanted to say congrats on this Christmas Eve to your FAMU Rattlers for winning the Celebration Bowl. You know, the number one bowl for HBCU schools. Y'all did win. So, hey, I'm going to give you hats off. This is your second year in the SWAC. So, hey, congrats to you. Wish it could have been us at Alabama A&M, but hey, you can't win them all, right?
Hey, man, it's funny because after we finished the spotlight, something said you shouldn't even have to say nothing. He already gonna know. He already gonna know. So the thing about it, man, is, even though we talk trash, a lot of brothers, man, you be trashing Alabama A&M. Nah, man, it's just competitive. Just like when Howard and FAMU was going at it, Bison was trying to choke the Rattlers. But it's funny, every time someone tries to choke the Rattlers end up choking them out. So I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate all that. Let's go and introduce today's guest, man. Because one thing about life is sometimes you meet people by happenstance. Sometimes you might have to get up a little early, go to a breakfast. They'll be like, hey, can you be there like at 7:30? You be like, what? But I could have been like, nah, I'm not coming. But you get up, you go, you handle your business. But sometimes you meet people when you're not really expecting to meet somebody. And this brother here, I met this brother at the Boys and Girls Club donation breakfast a few months ago, way before we even came out with the turkey drive. Met this brother there. This brother was on stage. I had coworkers with me, 7:30, 8 in the morning, struggling to eat breakfast. But this brother gets on stage, tells his story. I was like, wow, I got to meet this brother. Got to have him on Black Men Sundays. Who are we talking about? We talking about Shamel Akins. Who is this brother? He's the director of the West Orange branch of the Boys and Girls Club, the director He don't just work there, he's the director. This brother has a Bachelor of Science in Sports Management from Lynn University, because I got family down in Boca. That's the only reason why I know about that. And we're going to have this conversation today. So first off, Shamel Akins, the director of the West Orange branch of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida. Welcome to Black Men Sundays, brother. How you doing?
Hello, how you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. You know,
Definitely, man.
thank you so much for the introduction. I do want to say something before we go into the conversation. Mr. Eric Player, I'm from Huntsville, Alabama, and I think I'm familiar with Mr. Player. I have family in Huntsville, Alabama. Sanithia Crawford, Latasha. I have a good amount of people, but I think I'm
Yeah, I got to turn my mic on for that. Yeah, I know, Nikki. What? Man,
yes,
small world, bro. Small world.
yes. So Crawford's.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with Alabama A&M. You know, I still go to Huntsville from time to time to go and see my family.
Okay. Well, good seeing you, bro.
You too.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, man. See, it's a small world out here. I had no idea, right? We did turkey drive, been chatting with this brother for the last couple months. Been knowing my brother Eric since like what, 2006 when I met you out in Tampa Bay. It's a small world. That's why I always say you never know who you're gonna meet. I met this brother by happenstance, and it just so happens my brother Eric player. So I mean, if that ain't a Black Men Sunday quick tip off rip for you, I don't know what else to say. But here's what I want to get into because we talk about generational wealth, finance, and business off rip, man. You're the director of the West Orange branch of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida. For most folks, when they say director, like explain what that position means.
As a director, I oversee the entire building. I create programs for the community. I create different events that the community wants to be a part of. Also, giving back to our community and just being, a leader in the community.
Definitely. And, as I stated, you have a bachelor's in sports management from Lynn University. You have a background in education and youth development. But here's the question that I have. When we talk about the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Florida, just the Boys and Girls Clubs, period, are the clubs strategically located in certain neighborhoods or?
I wouldn't say strategically placed in certain neighborhoods, but I will say the neighborhoods that we are currently in, and I'm speaking on my location, is in a older community, low income community where the Boys and Girls Club is a very, very key location for the youth in the community.
For brothers out here listening that, man, I wouldn't mind having a Boys and Girls Club as well. Like, what's the process of becoming a director?
So for me, I grew up in a low income community. So in the community that I grew up in, it was either play sports or play the streets. So in the midst of playing sports, I ended up meeting the director that had a basketball program, flag football program, arts and craft activities, and it happened to be in my community for the Boys and Girls Club. So with me growing up in that community, and growing up in the Boys and Girls Club, I fell in love with the Boys and Girls Club. Right, I met different celebrities, athletes, and also mentors that kind of helped me, stay, on the right path. So once I had that mentor that I could kind of lean on, I knew I wanted to do the same thing for kids that grew up in the same community that I grew up in. Right, there's so many different influences in the community, and the Boys and Girls Club had positive influences. So for me, I wanted to be that to another kid. So I think that if you want to get involved in the Boys and Girls Club, you can always look up your local Boys and Girls Club, local recreation centers, and get involved in that way. I would go to elementary schools and read to schools. And, I mean, the word gets around after a while that, you care about the community, care about the kids. And from there, you'll find your way at nonprofit organizations that you can help.
Great information, man. And one word that always sticks with me that you said was mentors. I've been mentoring about a good 15 years in my community. And a lot of times when I go, I notice it's not a lot of black men. There's not a lot of men, period. You may have the director of that organization. You may have their father or cousin or family member, but outside of the family of that center, you don't really see a lot of black men. But on our show, when we talk about stocks and money, brothers are locked in. But then whenever we talk about mentors, it gets a little quiet in the room. So what can we do as black men to encourage other brothers to be mentors?
I think just exposing more people to the great things we're doing in the community. I think everyone wants to give back to their community or be a community hero, whether it's a community that you grew up in or it's a community that you're aware of. So just actually, just getting involved in your community, word of mouth, just, speaking to your local sports recreation spaces, getting involved and volunteering and things like that.
Do you have to get voted on? Is it like what's the process of becoming a director?
So for me, the first thing I did, education is very, very key, right? So, graduating college, doing the right thing, doing your classwork. And then also for me, um, graduating college. I played college basketball, and throughout those 4 years of playing college basketball, I was volunteering. I was getting involved in my community, like I mentioned before. So for me, it's just becoming a director. um, you have to have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for kids. You have to have a passion for wanting to give back. So I would just say, like I mentioned before, getting involved in your community, doing what's right in the classroom, um, getting your education, right, and just have a passion for wanting to give back to the community and wanting to be a mentor.
Yeah, great information, man. And one thing, when you sent me your bio, I saw that, you're increasing community engagement. So as black men, like what can we do to help our communities to increase engagement?
So for me, I would tell anyone, if you want to be a part of the community, start with your local elementary schools. Talk to the counselors, talk to the principal, and see what families need help. What do that school lack? Whether it's mentors, tutoring, food, just different things. So get into the school system and communicate and voice what you want to do in the community.
One thing over here at Black Men Sundays is we strive not just to be a podcast, right? We're trying to be active in the community, be community leaders where brothers and sisters know us. That's how I met you doing our turkey drive. But one thing I noticed about your community center is nestled in Winter Garden, but there's another community center not even 2 miles away from you that you gave up some of your turkeys. We donated to you for them. So explain, because I feel like these days I see a lot of brothers and sisters where, you see a lot of grandmothers, a lot of grandfathers now helping take care of the children.
So for me, I have to be honest. I grew up in these communities, right? I grew up in a giving family, and Mr. Eric can, he will probably agree. The Crawfords, we always give back, from my grandpa to um, my stepmother in Alabama. So I think you place yourself in those locations, the same situations you were in growing up. And for me, I want to give back to the entire community, not just my location, any community, any families, right? I want to touch as many families as I possibly can because I know how it is to not have a turkey for Thanksgiving, right? Or lean on the Boys and Girls Club to have a lunch meal or supper or Christmas gifts and things like that. So you just really have to have a drive to want to give back to the community. And for me, I'm never thinking about myself. I'm thinking about others 24/7. How can I make someone's day? Right. Because growing up in a community similar to one I work in, we didn't really have too many people we could lean on and change the narrative of going from not having nothing to having more. So I just have a passion of giving back. I wake up every day wanting to do more for multiple families.
I swear I heard somebody say when we were doing the drive, it was like, the brother play a little ball too. I was like, oh yeah. And then I heard you saying that you play college ball. So it's interesting you say that. Then you have a basketball court right in your facility. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of wanted to challenge you, but I realized, I barely even played 2K. So the last thing I'm going to do is get winded after like two shots. So, but let's talk about family for a second, because one thing that I remember at that breakfast, and it really touched me, just, because I feel like we come from similar backgrounds, just in different cities. But how would you say the way you were raised, how did that help your mental toughness as a leader?
I think the support that I had around me, the support that I had around me, I was able to witness those that was around me, doing the right things and also giving back, and then also, just overall doing the right thing, right? So that's where it starts at, putting myself around people that wanted better in life, that wanted to be positive role models in my life.
I was going to say, man, before I continue, Eric, you got any questions?
Man, I'm just amazed, man. We get to see you, bro. Well, I guess after the show, we'll kind of catch up, man, and and see, what you've been up to, these last few years and stuff. And but other than that, man, good. Everything's good, man. Don't have any major questions. He's pretty much very self-explanatory with what he's doing, and the cause is a good thing, helping out in the community and everything. So I mean, I'm all good.
All right, cool. Yeah, because I don't want y'all calling me Corey Iverson today, because I don't be passing that much. So, we was talking about basketball, so I had to slide it in real quick. So, yeah. So Shamel, man, let's go back to the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida, for brothers out there that say, you know what, man, I kind of want to contribute. I kind of want to uh be able to come by the center, or do my own initiative. What process do they need to do to be able to just, if they want to come in, they have an organization, and they want to basically be a leader as well?
So the number one thing I would say is look up and search local boys and girls clubs in your area. If you don't mind traveling, look up any boys and girls club. We're around the world, nonprofit organizations, right? That's the first step. The next thing is identifying the community that you want to be in, you're more comfortable in, right? And then from there, go and visit that location. Ask to speak to your service director at that location, and just kind of let them know what's your objective, what you want to do, right? Whether it is coming in to mentor, whether it is coming to work, whether it's doing a turkey drive, somewhat similar to what you want to do, whatever it is, just deliver it to that director. And I'm pretty sure it'll be a great conversation of how you can get involved. The Boys and Girls Club, we don't turn down any opportunities. If it works best for our kids and our community, we're all for it.
Definitely. And one thing that I learned from just talking to you, you just are a natural leader. So I'm assuming you play point guard. I know
Yeah.
you, yeah, I was gonna say I had to get that in there. But the thing about being a leader is, a lot of times being leaders, you have to set goals. You have to basically set up how you want your operation to be ran. So as a director, how important is it um to have relationships with not just the students or the club members, but with the families involved with the students as well?
It's very important. I think the biggest thing is you have to always keep in mind, although that you're the director, you basically work for the families and the kids, right? The kids and the family is who creates the Boys and Girls Club. So, um, with with me being a director, I'm just like a head coach, but at the same time, the kids and the players, I mean, the kids and the families are the players. They're the ones running the routes. They're the one making the shots and things like that. So when it comes to being a director, I like to listen to my families. I like to listen to the teens. I like to listen to our youth. What do you guys want? What do you guys see for our Boys and Girls Club, right? So I think that's very, very important. Seeing what your community needs, seeing what your families want for their kids, and seeing what the kids want as well. That's a good start.
Definitely, definitely. And it's Christmas Eve, by the way. Oh, and where's my manners? Merry Christmas, my brother. I just saw you on here, was ready to just dive right on in. But it's the holiday season, the New Year's right around the corner. A lot of people are setting goals, setting resolutions. For you, what goals are you setting for your center in the new year?
For me, I think the most important thing is having all of my kids back safe, right? I know in the community that I work in, I've been in situations where certain kids have different situations that stops them from coming to the Boys and Girls Club, whether it's getting caught up in the streets or getting caught up with with police and things like that. So for me, I would like all of my kids to be back after Christmas break, and then from there, I think increase our partnerships in the community and create more events. Our community, where our Boys and Girls Club is growing. So I definitely want to add on more partnerships like you guys and a couple more local organizations so our kids can have year-round programming and events. So those are my two goals: um, increasing participation, and increase partnerships and events for the new year.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And one thing I noticed, man, I started following you on your Instagram and I see your son Kyrie. I was like, I think he got more shoes than I do, man. This brother is
Yeah,
super fly. So, I definitely see how you raising him. I'm like, yeah, I already know he gonna be playing some ball. But my
yeah,
question for you is from a financial perspective. A lot of brothers with kids are trying to set that generational wealth, set those finances up. So, without us getting in your business, but it's brothers out here, like we're trying to get generationally, financially fit. So
right.
for you, like, you have a son, like what are you doing financially to either save up for his future or just anything, or just like what are you doing to help achieve generational wealth for your son, basically?
So my son already has a college fund already with Bank of America. So um not to really get into numbers, but there's a small portion that comes out of my check to go to his college fund. Also his mom is financial savvy, man. I mean, so she's helping me with planning financially, budgeting my spending and things like that. And I actually take a lot of well, not take, but I ask a lot of questions about how to save. So for me, I think the biggest thing is always understanding that hey, I live life for my son, and if I'm, Lord forbids, if anything happens to me, I want to leave my son with something. So I'm always trying to find ways of saving money, putting money to the side, or things like that.
Wow, man. You said your son's already set up at Bank of America. So for the brothers out there that's saying, listen, my son is 4 or 5 years old, but I haven't done anything yet to save for his future. Right now, what should these brothers do?
What I did was I started small, right? I think sometimes we think that we're supposed to deposit $10,000 overnight, right? So for me, if it's $1 a day, if it's $1 a week, if it's $1 a month, anything's better than nothing. So if you enjoy shoes, right? Which I know you do, so let's say if you wanted to save money for your child, just say, hey, instead of buying two pair of shoes a month, I'll buy one, and the money I would eventually spend for another pair, I will put that to the side to save up. Whether it's $1, like I said, $2, $3, over time that money's gonna grow. Also, there's different programs where banks will um, double the amount that you put in your bank account. Whether it's $1, they may chip in an extra dollar a month. Things like that. Figuring out different programs to make your money grow.
Definitely, man, because that's what we doing over here on Black Men Sundays. We done had financial advisors, accountants, all the flavors. But I'm like, you know what? I haven't had a director at a Boys and Girls Club. And then I
Yeah,
meet you. Like I said, I met you by happenstance, just like I met Shaq by happenstance. I think I met Eric by happenstance. You just never know.
yeah,
So that's why I always tell people, you never know who you're gonna meet. If you get invited and it's early, wake your butt up and go because you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know who you're gonna connect with. Because I feel like in our community, as black men, um, we're more on the competitive side instead of on the collaboration side. And I feel like, competition is cool, but once you start comparing, then it's like, ah. And, I remember when I first met you, you said, some kids may not have food on their tables. It's Christmas time, like for next year, because I know it's late, it's Christmas Eve now, but like next year going forward, do you guys have any initiatives that you would need some assistance in for next year? Because there's a lot of brothers that listen that are, lawyers, engineers that made very handsome donations, so that are listening right now. So, how can these brothers contribute?
So, like I mentioned, we're in Winter Garden. You can ask for Shamel Akins at that location. I'm normally there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I don't leave until 7. So I would definitely say, hey, you can reach out to me. I will leave my information for everyone to reach out. Um, Going into the future, we would love to have more brothers be a part of what we're doing, whether it is checking in on the youth or tutoring the youth or just coming to play catch and play football with the youth, right? That little deed there will change a young fella's life, right? Knowing that someone cares for him. Our kids are dealing with a lot of challenges outside of just technology that a lot of adults wouldn't even be able to handle. So just having someone to be able to check in with them and know that they're checking up on them and making sure that they're good, they're fine, is all we request, right? So if you want to get involved, please come and see me. I will leave my information so that you can call me. Whether it's, we just setting up video chats and letting you speak to the kids, anything helps, right? Our kids need more brothers in our community that believe in.
As I hear brothers saying, I work all the time. I try to be a leader in the community. I try to be a mentor. I just don't have time. I'm working all the time. We're basically, we'll shell the money out, but we're not at any of these breakfasts. So our face isn't attached to it, but we're financially there. For brothers that are saying we want to be mentors, we just don't have time to do it. Do you have any alternatives for those brothers?
I think for me is not thinking being there physically. There's multiple ways you could be there. You could send cards, you can video chat, you can FaceTime, right? You can have pizza parties. You can even invite a club to come out and see what you do at your job, right? You could give them a tour, right? So I always say, think small is always ways to get involved, right? Like I said, just pick up the phone sometimes and say, hey, you mind if I want to speak to your club members? And we could put you on speakerphone, and we could bring that group that you want to speak to for 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't even have to be that long. So there's plenty ways, especially with technology these days.
Definitely, because I think a lot of times, and I know I've done it in the past, like I said, I've been mentoring for about a good 10, 15 years. But before that, I would get in my head, well, I'm working a lot of hours. I don't really have the time. But then I felt like I started thinking so complex that, oh, I'm not even thinking of, oh, I could be doing X, Y, Z. So that's why I'm glad I asked you that question, because even I learned something right there. So I appreciate you for coming on Black Men Sundays, man. You enjoying yourself on the show, man?
Yes, this is awesome. I'm loving it, man. Great. Thank you so much for bringing me on, man. This is cool. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, man, that's how we do. We do this every Sunday. So, if there's a Sunday you just hanging out and you like, man, I just want to listen. I don't even know who the guest is. I just want to come and hang out. You could do that, man. It's
Okay.
Black Men Sundays, man. That's the whole movement. It's not just, like I said, it's not just a podcast. We in the community, we're all over the place, and we're trying to get this brand out there, because I hear brothers all the time, I make good money. I'm buying XYZ. I'm not really saving. So I'm like, here you go. But you don't have to listen to me. We bringing brothers on just like yourself, man. So, Shamel Akins, the director of the West Orange branch of the Boys and Girls Club. That's in Winter Garden, Florida. Thanks for coming on Black Men Sundays, brother. I appreciate you, and Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas, and hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Hey, please send me more invites.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my best foot forward and elevate. It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my best foot forward and elevate. It's a Black Man Sunday.